Yo, how we doing? Yeah, this is actually pretty unexpected. You see the title. It's about the announcement we got from the development team from Strive. Obviously, one of the directors posted out that there was I guess, dev's backyard kind of thing. Basically, we're getting I made a video on it before, like, there was kind of like the Strive news video, and it was briefly mentioned that we would be getting some type of patch, hopefully before the end of the year. That's when the devs wanted to push out that patch, and they basically just confirmed it, that it's actually happening on the 23rd, and we will be getting the notes for it pretty soon, which is really exciting. I am super excited. But I do want to go over what they said, and kind of what I think this means, through what they said. Again, they didn't give away everything, and I'm sure there will be some unexpected things, but I think the main thing to keep in mind that this patch is meant to be relatively pretty small. So don't expect your character to get like major changes. Just they just want to fix the quality of the game, since they think it's probably the most negative they've gotten for a patch. So with that being said, let's get into it. The first thing that they mentioned is adjustments for moves and damage that did not align with the intent to increase the overall number of interactions in a match. And then they go on to basically talk about chip damage on guard crush. They go to talk about damage in line. Basically, they raised overall defense, which means they raised HP, which they did, which, one of the characters on the screen right now, Sin, is one of the biggest winners of having more HP. Obviously, he needs it with the way his kit was reworked, but he did get a significant amount more of HP. What this line is saying, or I guess this first point is saying, is they want to actually decrease the damage. Things like, for example, maybe like in Senga doing like pile bunker damage, maybe revert the damage on pile bunker or even lower it a bit. Characters getting new routes like Kai doing insane damage with, CSC, shock state, DP, or, a Sin tyrant barrel damage, which is a lot, right? Ram Calvados, Nago normals, things like that, right? Again, they had the right idea with the patch, it just was executed poorly. I understand they thought it would be good to add more damage since they raised the defensive values for characters, but like they went too high, right? They needed to lower it by a good amount. Nerfing Soul's routes just for him to do like the same damage with, some of his routes. Pot doing 1,000,000 damage, who's actually a character we'll get into later. I mean, I'm sure there's some other characters that do like some absurd damage that I'm just not saying right now. Or I guess more damage than before, it feels, right? Like even like Mei, for example, feels like she does like the same like damage. Don't even get me started on Gold Lewis, like, we'll be here all day, right? So they're basically just saying that, guard crush, chip damage, which I think is a Gold Lewis specific thing. Gold Lewis and Nago specific change that, they want to get rid of. And, just actually going on their word of making the game lower damaged. Now, let's talk about, also scaling changes. Maybe gravity scaling or just regular, damage scaling and combos, which obviously will help lower the damage as well. Also, it says that reassess some characters' move properties. So I'm going to assume, and again, this for the first point, I'm going to assume that this means guard crush. Because they do go on to talk about chip damage and guard crush, but I think when they talk about properties, I think they mean like, Ram Sword having, guard crush properties, or maybe Sin having some guard crush property on some things, which I think is completely fine, but don't listen to me. Who am I, right? I think there's some other things. Maybe some things that just shouldn't guard crush. Maybe some moves that I don't know. Just that's the only thing I can really think of. But again, we'll have to see. It could be a whole curveball of things, right? Adjustments to move properties that did not align with individual characters' balance intentions. They then go on to say, we made adjustments for areas where the balance between strengths and weaknesses for each character's concept was off, as well for aspects where characters struggle to show their strength in actual matches. I think this is what they're saying. So they said they only were gonna do a couple characters, and I think this is what they mean. If you guys remember, if you watched the video on like the Strive News video that I posted, I believe in one of the tweets that the director posted, it's only gonna be for I think he said something along the lines of only gonna be changes to a couple of characters. I think that's what he means by that. I think the characters maybe that are too strong, considered too strong, will get, actually their weaknesses will actually be shown to be weaknesses, I guess is what they're trying to say. Or maybe they're talking about characters that are also too weak. and the weaker characters will also, you know, get a chance to have their strength shown with this upcoming small patch. I think the power level of the game right now is very high. I don't know where the direction I necessarily need it to go. I don't think I want it to go up anymore, but so maybe lowering it will be you know, pretty good. But again, we'll have to see what he means. But yeah, overall, I'm just excited to see, because I do think some characters will get some buffs that are kind of lacking behind. I was saying that I truly do believe the power level is so high that even the characters that are considered lower, like for example, maybe like Faust, I don't actually think those characters need help like that. Like I really don't want to see some of these characters that the devs have in mind of weaker needing to help showing their actual strengths, right? Like that, it's a scary thought. So let's just be careful they don't do a repeat and overextend with their balancing. And the third point and the last point is it's actually really cool. Okay, so I don't think anyone likes this version of Pot, right? I think everyone hates fighting this version of Pot. He's super cringe, way stronger than before. Now, they're basically saying that in the third line, restoring Potemkin's sliding special move inputs and balance adjustments in line with this change. So, they're talking about how they reworked him, and they said due to the response that they've gotten for the rework they had for him, or I mean release for him with the season 4, they're basically putting in the old Pot, which is you know, they want, again, they even say at the bottom, like, we intend to make him a character who can be fun if you cannot fully utilize this technique. What they're saying is, I think what that basically says is the reason they did it is because they wanted to make him more accessible, which was achieved. I mean, he became pretty baby, right? Like, definitely became more accessible to, you know, everyone. But I actually, it's funny because I think, okay, as cool as this change is to see that they're willing to revert things like this, it also is a little weird because I think on his, the release of this new Pot for Season 4, I think players were very unhappy, right? Like, the Pot players like, oh, I worked so hard on my execution. But then I think as they got used to this new Pot and they saw his power level, they were like, hold on, like, yo, Arcs is cooked, like, we like this, right? And so now it's like getting taken away. And, you know, now the Pot players are like, what? Like, no, man, like, you know, so it's kind of funny. But I think it's cool that they're, you know, willing to revert and make the character, like, more, like, skill-based, like, specialist character. So I think that's really cool. I'm interested to see what they keep from the rework, because it does say, you know, they're gonna make some adjustments in line with this change. So I don't think they're gonna completely just port that old Potemkin back. You know, maybe it would be cool to have, you know, let him have the blue wild assault still, let him keep some of the changes to his normals maybe, or, you know, some of his inputs or whatnot. But, you know, this being back is definitely cool. You know, the cars, again, were pretty cool, whether you loved or hated Pot. So I'm interested to see what these do, or what they do with Potemkin. Very interesting. But no, I hate Potemkin still. So yeah. But yeah, again, out of all this, or I guess the short little message, all I can say is thank you to the dev team for communicating with us and, you know, listening to us. I'm interested to see what they do. Nerf Ram, nerf Gold Lewis, nerf Nago, nerf May, nerf Happy Chaos, nerf Leo, nerf Johnny. Right? Buff sin! But no, on a real, thank you to the dev team obviously for, you know, keeping us in the back of their minds. I mean, dude, we're all so curious what they're actually gonna do. This could be another, like, slip up, but honestly, we're on the hopium of just the devs talking to us I think we're happy with anything. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I'm curious to what everyone wants with this short little patch, especially after reading the direction that they're heading with this game. So, you know, moving forward. So, I want to hear everything. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thank you everyone for watching, and best believe I'll be back for another video once we actually get our hands on the notes. Yeah, no, until next time, and thank you.